what about your relationship with anxiety? Like we talked a little bit about depression, right? That sucks away your motivation. But what about anxiety? How do you deal with anxiety?
I don't know. Well, how do you deal with
Do you get
anxiety?
anxious a lot? Huh?
Yeah, I deal with it a lot. I don't know how I deal with it.
Would you say you like, if you had to guess, do you like sort of use coping mechanisms for your anxiety?
Probably.
It's rely on anxiety. It's kind of a thing that you need to really push yourself past. Like sometimes I get anxious around people and get really anxious around people, but you kind of have to numb yourself out to it, you know. But
I feel like one thing that can help you with anxiety. I mean, this is one of those things where I would need examples to try to help explain like things that you could do. I just kind of get lost in thinking about anxiety and it feels so broad. Like a lot of things with anxiety is sometimes people get stuck in focusing and thinking too much about the thing and worrying about negative things. And sometimes just doing the thing instead of worrying about it can help with anxiety or thinking about something else instead of just worrying, you know?
I think I think exercise is a good way to
Yeah.
reduce your anxiety. I think before I started really going to the gym, I felt a lot more anxiety. But now that I go to the gym, I feel less anxiety because I feel stronger. I feel like more capable overall because I made a goal and I achieved that goal. So like, I feel
Yeah.
more capable.
But I feel like that's like a self-esteem type of thing, a self-confidence thing. You lacked that and now you've gained some of it, so it helps you with your anxiety. But anxiety can come from different areas. That's just one way of dealing with that type of anxiety from self-confidence.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, it overlaps, but yeah,
Yeah.
anxiety about I don't know, like what other types of anxiety would you experience? Just like if you're
Like
for your own well being or your own
I
um
think I get
physical.
anxiety a lot about failing things. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like anxiety of talking to people, saying the wrong thing, upsetting people, getting rejected, doing the wrong thing in general with different things, making mistakes.
I think a lot of that ties into social anxiety. What I've learned in my experience is that people are just gonna like judge you anyways. So you got like no other option but to really be yourself. You know, like people pay attention to you much less than you think. So
But that's the thing. I've always thought of this because I hear people say it irritates me whenever I hear certain people say things because they're kind of just looking at it from their own perspective or yeah, because a lot of people will say, why are you worried about what everybody's thinking of you? Think about how much you're worried about other people. You're barely worried about them. That's how they feel. They're not paying attention to you, a stranger walking around. But the problem is, I am thinking about those people. I am thinking about every person that I see walking down the street. I do think about them. I am like, that person's kind of walking kind of funny. So that's why I'm judging myself whenever I'm walking. I'm like, am I walking right? Am I looking stupid? Is somebody across the street going to be like, that guy's walking weird?
well, two things. First of all, I'm just like you. I do think about that a lot too. I do pay attention to people and I do judge them.
Yeah.
Um, the thing is, most people just aren't as aware. Most people aren't as judgmental as you.
And
Like
they
I
forget
just
about it.
yeah, they don't think as much as we do. We just think a lot. So that's just something exclusive to us. Second of all, it's just gonna happen anyways. You're just gonna like cause friction with people. So like, how are you gonna like? You just have to learn not to care because they are gonna judge you anyways. They are gonna like think negative things about you. But at that point, what can you do about it? You know,
I think there's a
like unless
balance. Like you can't just do nothing to get them to not judge you. You have to accept some type of balance of efficiency where you're not going to do anything too like, out of the ordinary or like
like you can't be too weird. You know,
I mean, if you're the type of person that's weird, you know, I mean, you can accept that some people aren't just gonna get, some people just aren't gonna really like you because you're weird. And I think that there's certain types of people that can deal with that and just accept that and move on. But then there's other types of people where they're not that weird, they just have like a weird side to them. And maybe you should only show that side of you to certain people.
Do you think I'm weird?
No, I was thinking of myself.
Oh, you see, that's the thing. We're just too like self-judgmental, right? And like maybe like you think you're weird. I think I'm really weird, but maybe it's really not the case. Maybe we're all just weird. And like who cares in the first place? What are they gonna do to you anyways if you're weird, right? Like I think the worst thing that can happen is that they start to ostracize you, bully you. But
I just hate them having negative thoughts about me.
but yeah, okay. Now I want you to think purely intellectually about this. But how is that going to affect you? Their negative thoughts about you. How is that going to affect you?
If they're having negative thoughts about me, that means that there's probably something negative that they're seeing. And if they're seeing it, there's an increased chance that other people are going to see it. And then that'll negatively impact the way that most people will see me. And it could have a negative impact on the way that they treat me based off of the negative things that they're seeing.
I want to ask you: do you have anybody to talk to you? Do you have anybody to talk about this? Like anybody you can consult to see if you really are like weird or you're doing something out of the ordinary? Because I know, like, I ask my mother a lot if I'm weird or if I'm doing this really in a really stupid way that's gonna like elicit negative attention. And she says, "No, no, you're fine. You think too much." So I think you need someone else to talk about this too.
Well, I mean, I get
And
that. I get that response a little bit, but then I also get the same people being like, you are a bit weird, and like, but everybody's kind of has their thing, you know what I mean? And then there are some people who are just like, yeah, you're weird, just get over it. That's just the way you are.
well, hey, I want to like go off a little bit off tangent right now, but honestly, when I look at you, I don't think you're weird at all.
If you liked this video, please consider liking and subscribing for more content. And feel free to leave a comment down below.